It's January the 3rd, 2011, and you're listening to the Wild Paw Dog Podcast with Karen Wild and John Buskell. Hello folks, and Happy New Year to you all. It's John here from Stockholm in Sweden, and I've got man flu. So I think that's why I sound like a cross between, Rod Stewart and a basset hound. Well, today we don't have a conversation between me and Karen, as we're just softly starting the new year with the podcast. But what we've got coming up is an interview between Karen and Dawn Porter. Dawn is a British writer, journalist and broadcaster, and she's well known for her cutting-edge documentaries in the UK. But did you know that she's got a little rescue dog called Potato? Well, just before Christmas, Karen was really happy to catch up with Dawn and find out all the news about Potato, the rescue dog, and Lilu, her cat. And they had a good old chat about why Dawn chose a little dog and what he's meant to her over the last few months. So, carrying up, here you got it, the interview between Karen and Dawn. And I'll be back next time for more discussion with Karen about dogs.
Well, I'm really excited to have with me this evening is Dawn Porter, the well-known writer and journalist who we've just seen on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here on the panel. And we loved seeing you on that, Dawn. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for coming on the Advent calendar.
No worries. It's great, cause.
I want to pick your brains now then. So, I know that you have a cat as well as a dog, am I right?
I do, yeah. I've had my cat for 7 years.
7 years? So how old is your cat?
Well, she's 7, so I guess I've had her since six and a half years. Yeah, she turned 7 this year, which was a really awful moment. I actually felt quite emotional about it, and I went to the vet to get her some food, and I had to register with a new vet, and I gave them her birth date, and they said, oh, she's over 7, that means she has to move on to senior food. I was like, no, she's a lady.
Oh no, I was talking to someone yesterday, I think it was Jackie Wren, Davina's trainer, and she said, I'm sure she said her cat was 24. I'm sure she said
happened, that. Not very often.
So, Lilu's got ages yet, I think.
Yeah,
and obviously, you've got your little dog as well. So tell me about Potato.
Potato was a rescue dog that we got in Los Angeles. We weren't supposed to have him. I persuaded my boyfriend to let me foster a dog because I just thought while I was there, I could kind of help out the pounds and shelters, because there's a huge problem over there with in the pounds, just totally overloaded. And so I wanted to foster a dog at weekends and just until they found homes. Anyway, we went to a dog shop one Sunday night, and we walked in, and there were all these lovely doggies there. And Potato just ran up to us, and both of us, my boyfriend and I, just melted at him. We went out for dinner afterwards, and we spoke about him all night. We went back the next day and fostered him.
Really?
Yeah, and we were supposed to take him back to the shop every Saturday to put him up for adoption. But the first Saturday, we just couldn't bring ourselves to do it. We just needed to kind of buy a little bit more time to decide what we were going to do. And anyway, after 2 or 3 weeks, I wanted the decision to be my boyfriend's because I have my cat and the dog really should have been his. So I left the decision with him and went for a long walk. And when I got back, I walked to the dog shop and he was standing outside. And he said, let's go and adopt our doggy. And we did it. We know we weren't supposed to adopt him, but we just felt that we'd found the perfect dog. And if we gave him up, then we'd just miss him forever. So we kept him.
So I think fostering is kind of like a trial basis in some ways, although I know it wasn't in your intention. Can I just ask you mentioned the dog shop. Is that kind of like a shelter? And it was open Sunday night.
Right. Yeah, but what they do in LA, so there's the pounds, which are hideous, and a lot of them, they're a 4-day kill. So if the dogs and cats are there for more than 4 days, then they get put down. So there are lots of these boutique, very LA, Hollywood-style dog shops all over the place. But what they do is they go and save dogs from the pound. So they'll take on, they'll usually have an average of 6 dogs in the shop and just keep going and getting more as they get adopted. And so we can go into you can go into the shops over there and adopt your dog from there. But they try and filter dogs out of the pound, basically. So that's where we went. There was one opposite my house, which is why we seemed to just kind of amble across it on a Sunday night. Oh, he is amazing. I mean, anyone that meets him, he's one of these dogs. They're just like, wow, he's a 1 in a million dog. So there's just absolutely no way that we could not keep him.
He's got lovely markings, hasn't he? I've seen pictures of him, and we'll put one on the day, on your Advent day, of course, so everyone can see what he looks like. But he really has got attractive markings, I thought.
He has. He's got kind of black eyes and one black ear, one dark brown ear, and one spotty ear. And he's just so cute. We presume he's a Jack Russell. He looks just like a Jack Russell, but a very kind of tall, slim Jack Russell. And he's obviously mixed with something else, but we're not quite sure what. But he's so lovely.
We ought to get people to try and guess what he is, actually. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? I mean, there's no definitive answer, of course, but it's always useful to have a look with all these doggy people listening, to get them to have a little look and a bit of a guess. So obviously, you brought him home, you made him settled and everything. And, do you... Obviously, I know with your work, you have to be away, don't you? So what happens there? I mean, obviously, you make arrangements for him. Well, what do you do with, where does he go? Does he stay at home?
With my cat, because I moved to LA about 3 years ago, and I just took her backwards and forwards with me, and so I could fly with her. And actually, people were like, "Oh, you can't do that," but like Virgin Airways has this amazing pet flying scheme, and they look after her so well. So I've done that with her. But now I brought her back to London, and she's going to stay here. Potato's still in America at the moment. It's just that you have to go through quite a rigorous process when you want to fly a dog or a cat internationally. They have to get the microchip put in, then a rabies jab, and then an injection a month later to make sure the rabies jab works, and then they can fly 6 months after that, so they don't have to go into quarantine, because obviously you just never want your pet to go into quarantine. No. So when we got Potato last January, we thought that we'd done this whole process, and in June we were due to bring him back to London with us. And actually what happened was, when the vet scanned him to find the microchip, for some reason it hadn't gone in, or it had been lost in him. So we had to start the whole 6 months all over again. So where are we? We're just, beginning December now, and now we can fly him back here in January. Now, due to that, obviously, I'm here most of the time and Potato's there, but my boyfriend is in LA a lot of the time. So while he's there, he's with us. But when we're not there, he has this amazing nanny. It sounds so California.
So LA, isn't it?
I mean, doggy daycare in LA is huge. Like everyone's doggies go to doggy daycare because everyone works long hours. And so anyway, when we're away, Potato goes to stay with Auntie Jade, and Auntie Jade's got about 4 or 5 other dogs there, and he just plays with dogs all day. Potato's the happiest dog in the world. He's absolutely fine with all this, but my boyfriend and I are obviously completely devastated every day that we're not with him. But we feel very, very secure that he's totally looked after. And I think when you rescue a dog, you make a promise that you don't have to give up your own life, but your promise to that dog is that you make sure that it's always looked after and always happy. And I think that we've gone out of our way to make sure that Potato is just the happiest dog.
Yeah.
I mean, the lady that's looking after him sends us videos of him playing, and even though it's lovely to see, we're just like, he doesn't even miss us.
Oh, heartbreaking. No, I know. Yeah. It's like everything, isn't it? And my friend's a childminder, and she says, look, it's good that they mix with other children. It's good that they have a nice time when they're here. You wouldn't want them to be crying their eyes out, would you? And
no,
I think
exactly.
There's a lot to be said for, mixing them with other dogs at doggy daycare. If it's well run, which, I would imagine they've got pretty high standards, that, they mix with other dogs, which if they were left at home all day while people go out to work,
No, you never want him to be on his own, because he did have quite a bad... When you get dogs from a shelter, you can have to deal with things like separation anxiety, as you know, because you helped me with that.
Yeah.
That just took a lot of work to get him through it. But even though he's kind of okay with being on his own now, he's not happy on his own, so we just try and make sure he's not as often as possible. Yeah. And when we work all day in America, then he goes just a couple of houses away to another lady who's just got lots of dogs during the day. When we bring him back to London in January, I work from home, so that that's going to be fine. And when we're travelling, I've got a friend with a dog who will take him. Well, actually, we've got lots of friends with dogs who will look after him for us. And also, we're all young and we've all got lives, and we all have. I've got 4 or 5 friends with dogs, and we all have an agreement that we'll all look after each other's dogs if we go away or if we need to. And actually, I don't know anyone who's got a dog who's just got one dog that doesn't appreciate having another one in the house to occupy them and kind of keep them company.
That's a very good point, actually, because sometimes they can build up all this energy, and the best way for them to get rid of it, I find, is to get them to have a good old play with another dog, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, I have a friend with a little puppy at the moment, and we're trying to socialise him. and he's just so ridiculously terrified of other dogs. But when Potato gets here in January, I'm kind of hoping that they'll become best mates and, you know, play with each other all the time. But I think it's really important that, I mean, look, you know, most people do only have one dog, but as much as you can get them around others, I think that's really good.
Yeah, no, it's important, and well, it's essential, you know, otherwise you get a dog that can't relate to other dogs and they can't, you know, behave in a normal way. We've got a few questions for you from people. When I asked on Twitter, I did get a bit of a surprise with some of the responses to ask you, but we won't do that today. Now obviously you won't see Potato until January. Now one of the questions is, how will you spoil your dog for Christmas? And do you have anything special planned for your pooch? And those questions are from Carolyn and Rabbit. So presumably you're going to delay that until he gets to see you in January. So have you got anything planned for him?
I will. But do you know that last night I slow cooked a ham hock, which is a big hunk of ham on the bone. And when I took all the meat off the bone, I said to Chris, I just feel that I can't throw this big juicy bone away. So I put it in the freezer. And as soon as Potato gets back, he's going to get this delicious bone, and I'm sure I'll have a few more by the time he gets here. Aww. And we do spoil him rotten, actually. And we're really sad that we're not going to be with him this Christmas and that he's not here, because that was we always thought he would be. And we missed it by 2 weeks or something with the date that we can bring him home. So it is sad. But like I said, the woman that he stays with is going to spoil him rotten, no doubt. And I'm sure he'll get a few scraps of turkey. Yeah, but I'm going to save loads for him.
Oh, you have them all built up. And the other question was from Alexandra. Now, I don't know how you feel about putting dogs in clothing, but she asked, if you could have any outfit for your dog, what would it be?
I know which picture I'm going to give you of Potato. On Halloween this year, he wore a skeleton costume. And he loved it. And we walked him up, and this is again so LA. We walked him up and down Melrose Avenue in his skeleton costume, and he wore it all day. And because he's quite pathetic, really, by nature, he was the bruiser that day. Really tough guy. But he also tried on a taco outfit, and but when he comes back here, you know, this is a dog that's kind of used to California sunshine now, and we were walking around today in the freezing cold just thinking he is going to hate this. So we definitely will get him a little coat. But I think when it comes to living in East London like we do, it's not going to be anything particularly stylish, but very practical.
I can imagine. You have to send us a picture of that as well.
Yeah.
Now, your nominated charity for the day, because we always nominate a charity every day of the Advent calendar, is not one that I'd come across before, and I actually found out about it through you on Twitter. So it's Copperfield, isn't it? So tell us more about that.
Copperfield is a charity that I've been working with for about a year. The young lady that runs it, Christine Hallinger, she got diagnosed with breast cancer when she was just 23 actually, and so therefore she's out there just giving a message to young women, which not many breast cancer charities really, you know, try to target young women. So we're all about awareness, checking yourselves regularly. Copperfield in yourself, and and I just have a lot of faith in Christine. I think she's amazing what she's done, and so any proceeds that can go to her, the more the better.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Well, what we'll do is we'll put the link on for everybody onto the day, so they can click straight through. And if you can donate, guys, yeah, please do, or you know, spread some awareness as well, because that's just as important really as funding. So Dawn, we have a prize today. And on the Advent calendar, I was wondering if you could ask a question for the prize, so that people can add it to the comments section at the bottom of the page. So, what's your question that you'd like to ask?
Okay, my question is, what breed of cat were the two nasty, horrid twin pussycats in the film Lady and the Tramp?
Okay, right. So everybody's putting their heads together, and no cheating. Don't just read someone else's answer and then put it...
Don't just Google it.
Yeah, don't Google it. You've got to try and remember in your memory banks. Well, Dawn, thank you ever so much for coming on today, and it's been really, really lovely to talk to you again, and I'm glad Potato's doing well, and I hope, you know, that you'll let us know how he gets on when he comes back in January as well. That'd be super.
I'm sure when he gets back here, that's all I'm going to talk about.
And if people want to sort of hear more from you, they can contact you on Twitter, can't they?
Yeah.
Your Twitter ID?
@HotPatooties.
Hot Patooties. So I'll put that on the
It couldn't sound more ridiculous, but @HotPatooties, yeah.
Well, apparently mine means something really obnoxious in Swedish, so, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wild
Yeah, apparently. So.
It does sound a little bit like a porn movie.
Yeah, well, it's something along those lines. Yeah, but it's not intentional. But yeah, apparently the guy I record the podcast with lives in Sweden, so he had hysterics when he realised. Anyway, well, look, Dawn, thank you ever so much, and look after yourself. Have a great Christmas.
Thank you, and yourself.
And we'll speak to you soon.
Love to all the dogs.
Bye.
So don't forget, if you go along to Karen's website, intellidogs.com, you can build your own personalised dog training manual for as little as $2.99. I'll talk to you next time with Karen, and until then, keep safe with your doggy in the winter cold.